This one is the bridge pose, and it's a really intense lumbar extension, number one, and also really intense pressure on the quadratus lumborum, which means that in the work that we do, we would lead into this with a lot of other low back work in preparation, and then we would apply something like this for the handful of people that can receive it. I can't stress enough that these techniques are not necessarily for everyone, okay? So when you've identified someone that can receive this, then a few key elements will include a blanket, and then also if you can have your socks on. I know that sounds maybe a little bit strange, but in the process of making your way out of this technique, this will be really helpful for you to have. I'll take you through the setup first, and then we'll piece it all together and go through the execution, okay? The first thing that you're going to want to need to do is come into a floating squat. So you want your heels off the ground, and you want your feet about hip width apart, your hips, maybe even a little bit wider if you can do that. And then where we're going with the knees is we want to actually start at the iliac crest in the low back. So we want to get so low that our knees are actually making contact with the iliac crest. And then what will happen is as we come back, the knees will start to lift up a little bit and will end up in the QL. As we do that, the hands are going to be interlaced behind the head. We bring them back slowly, and then as we go, we'll have this blanket on our lap, okay? As we go, we're going to try and control our descent as much as we can and bring them back onto our knees slowly. For anyone receiving this, it is going to be a very intense position. So the receiver is always going to make sure that they put their feet down on the ground first to create the support that they need to, that eventually they can start to walk their feet out and control the intensity themselves, okay? Also, if it's too intense immediately, then just come right out, okay? So, without further ado, let's go for it. So feet hip width apart, knees into the low back, just making contact with the ilium. Interlace your hands for me behind your head, and then I'll make sure I've got my blanket here. We're going to bring the elbows back. Fiendy's going to lean back. That contact, that leaning back contact is what I need to be able to slowly control the descent and come all the way down with control. Okay. Now, what I've got, because my feet are nice and wide, I've got a nice A-frame that she's now resting on. My knees are directly in the quadratus lumborum on each side, and now Jo can control the intensity for herself by walking the feet in to create more support, or walking the feet away to add more pressure and more intensity. This is something that we stay in for quite a period of time, or until our receiver says, yeah, I'm done, I'm fully cooked, and I need to get out, okay? So we're gonna wait here for a little bit. You doing okay there, Jo? Yeah?
Yeah.
Great. And we'll just gradually let her settle in. There'll be layers of release. Eventually, the QL muscles will start to feel a little bit softer, and then usually that'll create a bit more space and potential for you to walk your feet further out.
So what are you feeling?
I'm just feeling like I'm right next to the spine. In the QL, I feel the right-hand side, your right-hand side is maybe a little bit more resistant.
Yeah.
To the left. But it's just like if you were to be palming in the low back, you can feel the density and the resistance of the tissues there. And then I'm feeling that cycle of breath. On the exhalation, I can feel that you're letting go a little bit more. Also, if at any point hands and arms start to go tingly and numb, you can at this point release the interlace and just have your arms come to rest either side. That's no trouble. You'll also notice that now being back here, the blanket has landed as a nice pillow for Jo to have her head rest on my abdomen. And it just creates a little bit of cushion, number one, but also a little bit of a barrier, number two. Okay. So we're settling in. I'm going to wait for you to tell me that you're fully cooked. before we move out of this.
It's really nice, isn't it? It does just...
Yeah, it is. It's going to take that low back work to the next level. The adaptations that you'll need to think about if you've got a big height difference between you and your client, and usually it's if you are tall and your client is really short, then you're going to have to modify the position of your feet to create a lower support for the bridge in order that their feet are not going to be floating off the ground in space. Okay, so just something to think about there. How you doing?
Yeah, I think I'm more or less there.
More or less there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that feel? Is that what it feels like for you? Did you feel?
Yeah.
You felt
I think there's maybe a little bit more you could relax into, but because we haven't done a whole lot of prep on the low back for you today.
We haven't done any.
Yeah.
If we're going to be honest.
Yeah. But you had your movement practice.
I did have my movement practice. Don't laugh.
You did your own prep a little bit. But then, I feel like if we'd done more prep, then we could stay here for longer. But
it's pretty comfortable now.
I'll get you to interlace again. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to get you to walk your feet out. As Findy walks her feet out, I'm going to out in front.
Okay.
I'm going
as far as I can go.
Arc my feet in a bit of a circle so that I'm lowering the support. I'm going to use the slide of the socks. And then she's walking her legs out, out. And then we go forward right away. We go into a little forward bend. And it's nice and slow because we've been in a really, really deep extension. And so what I would recommend is just a little sweeping. And then maybe you can do a little bit of work here as though it were a prayer pose or something like that. You can come back and just start with a really gentle touch here, a really gentle pressure. Again, we were just in a significant lumbar extension. Now that technique is obviously quite complex and there are a lot of moving parts to it. There's also the element of having to manage weight coming back towards you and trying to juggle it in a way that creates a smooth transition. It will take time and practice to get there. So have a swing at it multiple times. And then if you have any questions, please reach out. Comments, please reach out. And we'll gradually start to build some skill there. Keep in mind, of course, that with anything like that, it's the long game that you want to play. It's not going to feel good or smooth or, skillful the first few times you do it. It's going to take a little bit of time. Okay, give it a whirl and let me know.